Planet Magazine.
Also known as Wednesday 13.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is all comfortable, yo. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
You're listening to Brutal Planet.
Hey, what's up, everybody? CJ Pierce here from Drowning Pool, and you're listening to Brutal Planet Media right here. Get yourself.
Hey, I'm Steve from Within the Ruins, and this is Brutal Planet.
Good day,
Brutal Planet. We're live with Jonah Weingarten from it's Aries Descendant, right?
Correct.
Nice.
Yes. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me
joining
on.
us, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where are you joining us from?
I am in my living room / music studio at home.
Oh, nice.
Here. Yeah. Yep. In Minnesota.
Oh, yes. You and Joey are like hanging. You're probably neighbors.
Could be. Where
I'm
are
on
you
the-
at, Joey?
I'm on the east side of St. Paul.
Oh yeah, I live in Cottage Grove.
Oh, okay.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So tell us about this new project, man.
Well, first of all, the album drops on Friday, so that's very exciting. It's our debut. And so basically about a year ago, I was talking to Frontiers Records. They're based out of Italy. About me writing a symphonic metal album. And initially the plan was to get like a big name female singer for the project. But then I had the thought that it would be cool to have a male singer and do something kind of different, you know? So that was where I contacted my friend Nicholas. He is in a band called Defecto.
Okay.
He's in Denmark. He's right outside of Copenhagen. And because he had filled in for Pyrames on our last live show when we played in Europe.
Okay.
And so him and I became friends, and he's an amazing vocalist and an amazing guitarist. So he seemed like kind of the obvious choice, actually. And I liked the idea of us basically just being like a two-man band of sorts. And then obviously when we play live, we'll have to have hired guns for like drums and second guitar and everything. But yeah, so I joke around. I kind of say that we're like the Hall & Oates of metal, or Hall & Oates of symphonic metal.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you both sing then?
No, he sings. I just do the keyboards and orchestration.
Okay. All right.
So
yeah, I guess Oates
sings.
did some harmony, didn't he?
Sorry?
Oates did some harmony, didn't he?
Oh, right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're more of just like Nicholas kind of does it all, really.
Oh,
He
does he?
does
Okay.
everything that I don't do, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I was
Those
noticing
are
vocally,
underrated too.
when I was listening to it vocally, it's really cool because it has almost some growls in it too.
Yeah. Well, he can do any style of metal vocals very well. So I actually suggested, I was like, throw in some growls, maybe like 5 or 10% of the album could be that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give it a little more of an edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you guys write the album or record it and all that kind of stuff?
So the writing process was I recorded and wrote all the orchestration for the songs first.
Okay.
And arranged it, and then he added the guitars and vocals and bass and drums after that.
Okay.
So that's what kind of helps it give it that sort of movie score vibe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because it definitely has a movie score sound to it.
Awesome. Mission accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, totally well done that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me, I mean, it obviously reminded me of the Pyrames stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an old school Pyrames vibe to it, I think. More so maybe our first 3 or 4 records.
Yeah.
And, I'm of the opinion that it's good to show your fans that have been there since day one that you are still hearing what they want,
Of
type
course.
of thing. So I wanted to do a project that was kind of more akin to the older Pyramid sound, but pushing the envelope as far as the symphonics, because I wasn't really like, especially on the first Pyramids record, there was I don't know, it was just all keyboards, it wasn't really orchestral.
Yeah.
And this, I think Aries Descendant is full on symphonic metal. So
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, have you heard any of it?
I didn't see anything in my inbox.
Oh, that's all right. You're gonna have to check it out. It's really good.
Well, I like that last Pyramids record you sent me, so that was
was that
and if
Bloodlines?
both in Minnesota, like I definitely got to check this out.
Yeah. Who else? Somebody else had a question, I thought.
I was just going to ask, do you like kind of having like this situation? Is it a different situation from Pyramids? Do you kind of like having this level of control? Did you have the same level of control with Pyramids over kind of like the writing process and all that?
In Pyramids, myself and Jakob sort of contribute maybe an equal amount of musical ideas, and then we just kind of roll with it. And in Pyramids too, like half of the songs, the ones that he writes, so I'm being sent the guitars and drums, and then I'm adding the keyboards and symphonics to that, and then the songs that I write, obviously, then he's adding guitars and stuff like that after the fact. So
Yeah.
So there's that. But in Aries Descendant, we're pretty committed to our songwriting process that we have, which is all the orchestrals first, because that it helps us sound like what we want to sound like.
Nice.
Gives you that cinematic vibe to build on the symphonic stuff.
Yeah, and we're trying to push the envelope big time with that. And in the mixing process too, it's especially important because, for my whole career, half of what I do you can't hear because it's buried behind a wall of guitars and drums, all the kind of like mid-frequency stuff. So I'm doing these, complicated viola and French horn lines that are getting buried behind guitars.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of a bummer. So like with Aries Descendant, when Nicholas, he mixes it too. When he's been mixing, he's been really careful to, as far as like EQing and levels go and everything like that, to make sure that the orchestration really shines.
Nice.
Yeah, as someone who's done some mixing, man, that can be a real problem because you have a limited frequency bandwidth to work with, and if you have a lot of guitars, they're going to suck up all those frequencies that you need for your keyboards.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, story of my life.
But I personally love like a good mix. I love symphonic metal. I mean, I just think it's such a great thing, and there's so many good symphonic bands out there that, I mean, it's fun to hear. It's very energizing music.
Yeah,
I like that you use the phrase "pushing the envelope" too, because now I really want to listen. I didn't get a chance to listen to the stuff before this, but now I really want to listen to it because I feel like that genre really hasn't had the envelope pushed that much recently.
Yeah, right. Well, it's almost this become this kind of cookie cutter thing where you take a pretty girl that sings and you stick her in the front, and then you have the four chords and the drum beat, the doon da kind of thing going on, and it's a bit tired. I'm sorry to say, but we just wanted to take symphonic metal in a different direction and really, I wanted to incorporate more modern film score into it, more, kind of like Hans Zimmer, big stuff, big French horns, all that.
I just I looked back at the email Eric sent. I've been busy all day, so I hadn't had a chance to check it out earlier. But I see track 10 here features Tina Guo. How did you get hooked up with her?
So Tina and I were featured in the same magazine back in like 2017 or 2018.
Okay.
She was on the front cover, and then I had a full page spread somewhere in there. I think it was called Progression Magazine or maybe. And so we started talking after that and exchanged emails. And interestingly enough, so The Heart of the Forest was originally written for my We Are Sentinels project that I did with Matt Barlow, but we decided that that was just going to be a one-off album. And so I had all this material, and I had this great track that Tina had played cello on. And I thought it would be a great closer to this album, because it's like full on, you know, film score epicness. And yeah, of course, she's played on all the big movie soundtracks. And
Well, I was just gonna say I saw her play with Hans Zimmer here last month, so it was.
Oh, Sam, yeah.
Oh, you were at that show too?
Yeah, I met Hans Zimmer.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So, Tina put us on the VIP backstage, and
oh, that's cool.
So it was neat. I mean, that show was the best concert I've ever seen in my life. Maybe you can agree.
I agree.
But then to go backstage, you know, and hang out with all those musicians and everything, and meet Hans very briefly.
Yeah. The level of talent on that stage was just out of this world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's really cool. She's a metal fan too, right?
Yeah. Well, she played on the new Camelot album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that she played with Sabaton at Wacken.
Yeah.
Back in like 2019 or something. So yeah, she totally digs metal, and you know, I sent her some of the Aries Descendant stuff, and she really liked it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I actually have another track that I did with her that's going to be on the next Aries Descendant album. I might add guitars to that one too. I'm not sure.
Sweet.
We'll see how it goes.
So yeah, then you get good luck getting your horns in there.
Right.
Yeah, the violin and then the guitars. I mean,
yeah. Well, you know, it's you're always walking the line as far as it's more like in the mix and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where good mixing talent comes in real handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Nicholas is super good at mixing, so it's nice. We're kind of all in house here with our little operation. So, we're going to be announcing our first like big show pretty soon too.
Nice.
But I'm actually hoping that before that we get some touring in or something, so we can try out our sea legs, or however that expression goes.
Yeah. Totally get that.
Yeah.
And what have you heard from? I mean, you've obviously seen what's the fans been saying.
Sorry, I broke up there for a second.
What are your fans like on? What have they been saying? The comments.
Yeah, we've gotten a really positive reception.
Good.
Yeah, and like the most surprising to me are the folks that are hearing Aries Descendant but have never even heard of Pyrames. So
yeah,
I just figured I was going to be siphoning off of my pre-existing fan base, but making new fans is cool too.
Yeah.
But I think Frontiers, they do a good promotion in Japan too, and I've noticed a lot of comments on our music videos and stuff so far have been in, I think it's Japanese writing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's always great when you hear people say different things, but it's all connected. And even like it does different countries, they all everybody still has that, they love that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like metal's appreciated more in other countries than it is in America almost.
I agree.
I would
and like Europe and stuff, they love I think it was Faith No More, they were talking about filling stadiums and all that stuff in Europe, and when they come here, not that they don't play big shows, but they weren't getting anywhere close to this level of
crowd they get in.
Yeah.
So you don't have any like strong plans right now for touring or anything, but obviously that's still in the works then.
Right. Well, we have our eye on it, and there's steps you have to take, and the album hasn't even come out yet technically, so hopefully the buzz just gets going about it, and we'll have to work with some booking agencies and that kind of thing.
Who did the cover art? Because this is pretty sick.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. It was Remedy Art Design. this dude Giannis from Greece. He did the new Camelot album cover. He's done a lot of the Evergrey stuff.
Okay.
And he did the 2 newest Pyramids records too. He did
Okay.
Bloodlines and Epitaph.
Oh, he did. Okay.
The color scheme too is interesting. Like I really like it, but you don't normally see that much purple and pink in a cover.
Yeah.
So it really stands out.
My girlfriend likes it because her favorite color is pink. So
hey, there you go.
Nice.
But it's still metal, man, because and it was just so funny describing to the artist what I wanted. I'm like, okay, so I need a robot, fighting a dragon.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Yeah. He enjoyed the challenge. It was a bit different than most of the other stuff he's done. So, but it's all, he does the hand painting, and I'm sure there's some like digital touch up on it too and that kind of thing. But yeah, I actually I already started talking to him about doing our next album, the next Aries Descendant album. And him and I, we got into discussion about how immoral it is to use AI for your album artwork. I know that that's been kind of a touchy subject in the metal world this year. But bands are getting called out for it. The most recent one I saw, I think, was Gravedigger, maybe. But like when you look at the album artwork, you can see it has like skeletons on it, and some of them have like weird wonky hands that you can see are all AI.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Too many fingers and that.
Where did you guys get the album art from? I got a folder with the CD in it, but I didn't get any album art.
Oh, I Googled it.
Oh, okay.
So do you have a idea if you decide to go on tour? Do you have already people picked out that you want to be in the band with you?
Yeah.
Good.
I think if we're doing shows in Europe, we're gonna have some Danish dudes, and then if we're touring the US, then probably some other American dudes here.
Okay.
But I think that we'll probably have kind of a territorial roster, I guess, based on convenience. And of course, it's like getting European musicians to come to the US and play is such a pain because of the visa process. And
I was gonna say it makes visas a lot easier if you just get whatever continent you're on.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Europe, they're way cooler about people from the US going there to play also.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer, it's you would think that our government would be more supportive of like the arts in general. And it's hard as a musician to even break even financially doing anything these days. So it'd be nice, like, if at least they didn't try to rip us off.
Exactly. Because it's funny because you talk to bands and from Europe and stuff, and a lot of them don't want to come because they don't want to have to deal with the process of even just getting in.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I could mention the festival that we're going to be playing next year.
That's all right.
But
we'll announce it. We'll announce it when you do.
Cool. No, I appreciate that.
When do you think you're gonna? When are they gonna find out?
I think it'll be for sure announced within the next month.
Nice. Okay.
So, yeah, they asked me for the logo.
Oh, cool.
The logo for the announcement today.
Nice.
So hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's gonna be but so our next single drops on Friday. Also, we have a lyric video for that.
Nice.
Which will be the single that's on album release day. For the song called "Symphony of Demise."
Oh, okay.
Which is it's like it's really the fastest one. It's got kind of a Camelot, Dragon Force, but way more symphonic thing going on.
Nice.
So I think people will dig it. Yeah.
Track 5, Moria. Who's the Lord of the Rings fan?
Moira.
Oh, it's not Moria. I thought it was from Lord of the Rings. Darn it!
Is it Moya from Schitt's Creek?
Moira Rose.
Moira.
Moira Rose. Oh, she's one of the greatest television characters ever.
I
But
know.
yeah. No, it's not that. And I actually asked Nicholas about it, and he gave me an answer, and then I've tragically forgotten what he said. So you know how it goes when you get older. You kind of forget stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. So where can people go to get your stuff?
I mean, for sure from the Frontiers Records website, but
Yeah.
I know it's like on every streaming platform, and you can buy it if people still do that. Yeah. You know, it's weird. I got this box of CDs from the label, and it was like, man, what a lost. It felt like an ancient artifact.
Yeah.
Holding a CD.
Yeah.
I put the cover in a square next to you, just for the record. I was messing around with our layout, and I threw the cover in there. So
yeah,
very
nice.
cool cover.
Thank you. But as far as I'm guessing if you just do Google and shopping, it's probably going to be on Amazon and a bunch of distributors like that. I think Frontiers has good distribution. So.
Yeah. And then do you guys have do you have any vinyls or special? Is there any vinyls or anything for it too?
I don't know if they're going to do a vinyl yet. I really hope they do. I don't know if you can see behind me, but like every album that I've played on is in vinyl framed behind me.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
So my goal is to have every inch of my house covered with albums that I've played on by the time I die.
Yeah.
And I'm already halfway there. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think so. So vinyl would be cool. There will be, of course, special Japanese edition, as they do with a bonus track on it.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I still love that. I mean, as a kid, I loved it when you would go to a record store and you'd try to find the Japanese version of any album, and it would always have an extra track on it.
The import.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And you were always like, why didn't that make the album?
Yeah. And I mean, as an artist, it always feels like, I'm like, man, not enough people are going to hear this song.
Yeah.
And it's, when having a great extra song. But we did. It's kind of like a more mellow version of the track, A Flame the Cold.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Dustin, did you have any stories you want to talk about?
I mean, I didn't collect a lot because I knew we were going to be talking to Jonah, so I didn't want to cut into too much time into that. But I do have these comments from this video.
Jonah, do you want to stick around with us to go over a few things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let me see. I can share this. I'll probably have to change the layout if I do that though. But so basically, we posted a video where we were talking about Ozzy. Ozzy came out and said when Black Sabbath first toured with Van Halen, they blew them off the stage. And so we posted that video, and we got a lot of really cool comments actually from people who attended the tour and saw the tour. Wow. And one of the things people pointed out was that at that time, Black Sabbath was on the Never Say Die tour. And Van Halen had just come on the scene. So it was kind of like witnessing two bands kind of crisscrossing, Van Halen was on the way up and Black Sabbath was on the way down type thing. But here, let me share these real quick. And we can talk about some of them here. Let me go to a better view than that so people can actually see them. So this was the first one this guy is in Britain, and he said, I saw Black Sabbath on that tour in 78 as an 18-year-old headbanger. It was the Lewisham Odeon, a rundown neighborhood in South London. No one, and I mean no one in the audience, knew who Van Halen was. When the lights went down, this tall, blonde, half-naked man came on and did the splits, then grabbed the microphone and screamed, Lewisham, the fucking rock and roll capital of the world. The entire crowd sat in stunned silence during the 30-minute set, not knowing any of the songs or what to make of these crazy Americans. We were there, after all, to see Black Sabbath, but that guitar player Fuck me sideways with a grandfather clock. That guitar player was from another planet. When they finished the last song, and I can't remember what it was, there was a moment, about 2 seconds of absolute silence, like we had all been hit in the face by a cinder block. Then the place fucking exploded. It was a profound and visceral experience. I went on to see Van Halen at every one of their UK appearances in the following decade, and although they were all magnificent, nothing compared to that initial impact at Lewisham Odeon.
That's really cool.
It's so well written too.
Yeah.
I am so feeling that grandfather clock.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's literally you. I replied to him and I copied that part and just put like a laugh emoji after it because like that's just beautiful orator, sir.
Yes.
So there's a couple other comments in here. So another thing we were talking about in the process of this was Sharon Osbourne. And I think it was you, Joey, who made the comment that there's no way Ozzy would be where he was without Sharon Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, let me find this one. There's a really good one where they talk. Okay, here it is. Sharon was a very good manager. One thing about it, if you're married to your manager like Ozzy was, your record company's not going to rip you off in any of your contracts. She was one of my three favorite managers, with the other two being her dad and Peter Grant, manager for Led Zeppelin and Bad Company. Also, Eddie and Randy were two of my favorite late 70s and early 80s guitarists, with the other two being Yngwie Malmsteen and Michael Angelo. And so then this other guy comes in and he's talking about Sharon's dad. Don Arden was a gangster. He threatened to break Jimmy Page's hand when he was in the Yardbirds. Both Don Arden and Peter Grant used scare tactics and brute force to get their ways. If there was money owed, they made sure the bands were paid.
Wow.
This guy says, and now I know why you picked Sharon's dad. And Don and Peter Grant were two of my favorite rock managers, because with being a musician, songwriter, and vocalist myself, playing in the 80s and 90s, that's two of the managers I would have wanted the bands I was in to have. That would guarantee that we would have never been cheated out of any money by any record and concert promoters or the record label we would have been signed to. You need that. That's the reason why some bands just get walked all over by these record companies and promoters.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple other good ones in here. There's a lot of debate about, because there was a whole sidebar in this about Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen's rivalry.
Oh.
And
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, that's
what I said.
Discovered. Yeah, that's what we discovered.
We should read that. I should pull that up so we can talk about it, Eric, because I think I have the slideshow that it's in, but it's pretty interesting because Eddie Van Halen, a lot of people say Eddie Van Halen was like kind of arrogant. I mean, he's Eddie Van Halen. Like, it's like saying Kobe was kind of arrogant. You know what I mean? It's like, he's like one of the best to ever do it. Like,
but I still think Eddie redefined it. So I don't think
Eddie was like the second Jimi Hendrix, the second coming of Jimi Hendrix. Like Jimi Hendrix, like took electric guitar playing to like the level that it is today, and then Eddie Van Halen like took it to the moon.
Yeah. So Jonah, are you going to hire a manager to break arms and stuff like that if you don't get paid?
No, I'm a peaceful warrior.
Okay, all right.
I like that.
Yeah, I just hope for the best, but expect the worst. You know.
Yeah.
Minnesota, nice.
That's all we can really do, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
Are you originally from Minnesota, Jonah?
I'm born and raised in Vermont, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
But because of my music career, I've lived in 8 states and 3 countries, and
okay,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I'm originally a cheesehead, so
yeah.
How long have you been doing music, Jonah? Out of curiosity.
I mean, technically, there's a home video somewhere of me being as a 2-year-old, complaining that I'm tired of singing the song about the bumblebee that stung me and I have to squash it. You know that song?
Yeah, so. Don't get it in my head, please.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the camera and I'm like, I really want to write a new song. I want to write a song, you know? So I guess since I was 2, but I mean, right out of high school, like when I was 18 years old, I joined a band in Australia and moved to Sydney. And my parents thought I was crazy,
Hmm.
but you know, I just knew that I had to go for it. But that was the wrong continent, man. Australia is so isolated, and
Yeah.
and all the music I loved was coming out of Europe. So then I knew the next band needed to be Scandinavian, and so I joined Pyramids when I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah. How do you get a gig in Australia? Like, how did that happen? Did you find it in like a back of a want ad or something? Like, how do you get that gig?
No, I found this band from Sydney. They were a melodic death metal band, and they only released one album actually, but they were called Infernal Method, and I found them on mp3.com.
Oh wow!
I don't even know if that still exists anymore. I
remember it.
Yeah.
Well,
so and I sent them a message somehow, and I don't know if you can message on mp3.com. I honestly can't even remember. But I was like, hey, I'm a keyboardist from the USA, and you know, I'm looking to join a band, and yeah. They were like,
wow.
okay, mate, come on over. You know,
did they ask you for like any proofs or anything? Did you send them like any samples of your music or anything?
No.
Wow.
I didn't even have any.
That's so cool.
It's
cool.
Kind of wild. I wish I remembered more about it, but I mean, more importantly, in April of 2002, that was when I began email correspondence with the Pyramids dudes.
Okay.
So, yeah, Denmark's a better area.
Yeah, definitely.
Not so much in Denmark, but it's super, obviously borders Germany and Sweden and everything. So,
yeah.
That's crazy. The guy from this band, The Used, that's from where I grew up in Orem, Utah, he ended up in Australia. From Utah to Australia. So
that's crazy.
But I think he's retiring from music. Like, it's not like he moved there to like do like, you know, play in a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, just think if you would just reply to an email from somebody in Norway, and then you ended up in some death metal band where you painted your face and buried your clothes and stuff.
Well, after I think his name was Mustas. After he left Demu, I sent Demu's management an email, and I was like, hey, I'm a keyboardist from the US, you know, and like I'm interested in the job. And I had a whole list of, you know, references of famous people or whatever. And they were like, well, we want to get someone from Norway.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I would have happily painted my face if it meant in Demu.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last night I went and saw Korn and Gojira.
Okay.
Great show. Spirit Box opened. They were fun.
Did you see them?
Yeah.
Were they good?
Yeah, they were good. As a photographer, it pissed me off because Joey will know this. They made us shoot from the soundboard, which I hate.
Well, the last time Spirit Box played here, they wouldn't even let the photographers shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. And it was so Gojira was on next, and man, they just tore it up. I couldn't believe how good they were. They're just so good and
impressive band, man.
I've
seen them twice now.
The pyro was just amazing.
I told you when we saw them with Deftones at the first time I saw them with Deftones at the Greek Theater. Deftones obviously one of the greatest. But Gojira just had like, maybe it's because they're younger, they just had like an energy to them that was just way more powerful than Deftones.
Deftones seemed a little tired that night.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But yeah, there was like, it was just crazy how much pyro was there. And then, I mean, Korn came on, and Korn, I mean, it's just weird because when I've seen Korn in the past, they've always had pyro. This time they didn't have any, and they just had lights that almost squished them, you know.
Were they good?
Yeah, they were really good too. I was just surprised. I just really never. I mean, I'm not a huge Korn fan, but I was really impressed seeing what's his name, Brian Welch.
Yeah,
live. He just was really awesome. And the only word I could think of it for his guitar playing was just like tweaking. You know, he was just.
I'm glad he came back to the band because he left for a while, right? Like he like became a Christian and like took off. And it was just the 30th anniversary. Joey pointed this out the other day, right, of their first album. But that guy, I have on my Instagram a thing where he's talking about how they came up with the riff for Blind, and they totally copped the lick from a Mr. Bungle track.
Oh,
and the way that he describes it, I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe I never put that together, because I loved Mr. Bungle growing up, and I just never noticed that connection. You know, he's like, we were trying to do these. To your point, tweaky is like a great word, because he even says it in this thing. He's like, we're trying to do this like twisted version of this Mr. Bungle chord that we fucking kind of ripped off from them, you know?
Because he's just like kind of sitting in the corner and he's just like ding, 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 ding. And you know, it's just that noise is just so, it's not something you hear in metal a lot.
Those two guys together, Monkey and Head, like they changed the fucking landscape of guitar playing, really.
Yeah.
And 7-string guitars, for sure. They brought that whole game. I mean,
people were using them before that, but like they made it a thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that made me, when you were talking about that, Jonah, what were some of your influences growing up?
Well, I got into film score music in 4th grade.
Okay.
So with the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack, that was kind of my big entrance into that. I didn't get into metal until high school, but like I had all the gateway bands, I guess you'd call them, like the new metal stuff, like Korn and that, and then I kind of got into Metallica and Megadeth, but then because of Napster, I started discovering all of these bands from Europe. And then I would actually like go to my local little CD shop in Montpelier, Vermont, and special order these albums from Europe. And that, that was when I got all the In Flames and the Children of Bodom stuff and Demo and Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
So, so those are like, as far as metal goes, Soilwork is still my all-time favorite band.
I love Soilwork.
Soilwork's amazing.
So
What's
great.
that? One of my favorite songs, Late for the Kill, but Early for the Slaughter.
Mm-hmm. Is that from which album was that? That was the one before the Panic broadcast.
It might be the Panic broadcast, actually.
Okay.
Maybe it isn't. Hold on.
Soilwork's got what's the name of the singer again?
Bjorn Speed Strid.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. That is from the Panic broadcast.
Okay.
Isn't he in Night Flight Orchestra too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would say like when I'm listening to music, I listen to film score music more than anything.
Huh.
So I got my top 5 goats. Hans Zimmer, John Williams, of course, Alan Silvestri, Danny Elfman. And Thomas Newman.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity. I was lucky enough to see Danny Elfman. It was like a year or two ago at the Hollywood Bowl. Amazing. Like that guy.
Cool.
Good Lord. Like not only did he play like a lot of his score stuff, he played like talking or Oingo Boingo stuff. I was going to say talking.
Yeah.
You mentioned Thomas Newman. I really like his 1917 soundtrack. I listen to that all the time.
It's so great. I feel like he's underrated or underappreciated, because you don't hear his name as much, but you can hear Thomas Newman's influence on like everything I do these days. Like you listen to the newer Pyramids records, for sure, and then a little bit on this Aries Descendant album, even just in the way that I kind of like to. He does this thing where he'll hold like a tone, like kind of a steady tone of one note, and then sort of like work notes around that like very beautifully. And I like how it sort of sets the stage and creates this ambiance. So if you listen like the first 5 seconds of A Flame the Cold, which was our second single, it's like total Thomas Newman worship.
Huh. That's cool.
I'm glad I jumped on tonight because now I'm really excited to check out this album tomorrow.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's spread the word,
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like at this stage of my career that I'm established enough where I'm happy, but then trying to start something new, like a new band like this from scratch, it's wild because then I feel like I'm like, hey, listen to my demo, man.
Yeah.
But that gives you a new energy and drive though too, doesn't it? To like bring that back.
Yeah. I see like endless potential with Aries Descendant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to see where things go. I feel like this is like, because I just turned 40 last year, and so I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I got to do it now, and really get out there and do some more touring, and
Yeah,
so,
because it won't be long before you're Lemmy.
Right.
Just be out there like touring like Lemmy.
Yeah.
Or the Rolling Stones. I mean, shit.
True.
Like I see so many older cats doing it. Like we were talking about Motley Crue a couple weeks ago. They're like doing a Vegas residency, and I'm like, that's perfect for Motley Crue at this stage in their career.
Yeah, it is. And then they can set up the sound perfectly for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They can get all their backing tracks lined up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I mean, the Rolling Stones are kind of a bad example, though, because, they're twice my age. They're like my dad's age, they're all 80 or whatever. But they literally get taken from their fancy hotel room in a limo, up to the side of the stage where everything is already set up and sound checked. And then they just play for like an arena, and then they just like waddle off back into the limo.
Yeah, you're right.
Hotel,
I saw an interview with Metallica where they were talking about tour, like they did some shows with the Stones, and they like weren't even allowed to like talk to them or see them. Like I was like, that is fucking crazy. Metallica, they're like,
yeah. What? That's wild.
That's cool though. I mean, I always feel like metal has a place intertwined with opera and
classical.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we did that Mythbusters thing about the plants? I always think about that when I think about the connection between metal and classical. The plants that they played classical and metal grew taller than the others.
Huh.
They did this whole thing with like, does playing music for plants affect their growth? And so they had these different.
We'd share it with you, but it got shut down.
Yeah.
Oh, it did?
Well, I think it shut down. It got demonetized because we used the clip was from like the Learning Channel or the History Channel or something. But I know how to get around that now. So I've gotten wiser in my YouTube skills.
Just show a photo.
Well, no, you just use the audio and then you cut and paste screenshots over it, so you're not using all their video. Because if you're just using the audio track with some screenshots over it, most of the time they're like, all right, you can do that.
Yeah.
Huh. So there you go. Secret tricks of the trade.
Wow.
But yeah, there's definitely a strong link between classical music and metal.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually would say that's sort of the distinguishing line between European metal and metal from the US. Is European metal is more based in classical music and folk music, and then American metal is more blues oriented
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, a lot of those bands like you were mentioning, like the Gothenburg bands like In Flames and even At the Gates, who I love. I think they kind of blend a little bit of American hardcore into it.
Yeah.
But still definitely has a lot of the classical overtones and
yeah. Well, like the older In Flames stuff was really folky. There's a lot of stuff in like 3/4 and
Opeth.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, very like that Blackwater Park record they did is like one of my favorites.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because that's kind of the one Opeth album that I've always loved.
Yeah. After that, they kind of got a little, I don't know, but that album is.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled up that slideshow, Eric, to show you that whole thing about because we were talking about Ozzy getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his solo career, but this was the story that we were talking about, and about Eddie, and so Ozzy says Eddie was a great guy. Ozzy said he was always nice to me. He was a lovely man to be around. At Alex, I took all them down to my local pub, and then where's the thing? Ozzy also discussed the supposed crosstown rivalry Randy Rhoads, the first guitarist for Osbourne, worked with after Black Sabbath, had with Eddie Van Halen. They were arch enemies. Ozzy remembered Randy didn't have a lot to say about Eddie. They were very similar guitar players. Eddie took that tapping thing to another level. Randy could do that, but he liked people like Leslie West.
Hold on. Did you notice that you said Ozzy remembered something?
Yeah. That's a rare moment.
Yeah. That might be a misprint.
Yeah.
I don't like the way these guys worded some of these articles too. Like this line right here. Ozzy also discussed the supposed crosstown rivalry. Randy Rhoads, the first guitarist Ozzy worked with after Black Sabbath had. Yeah. It's like, why don't you just say Randy Rhoads had with Eddie Van Halen? Like, we know who Randy Rhoads was. But let's see, the rivalry between Rhoads and Van Halen was explored in the documentary Randy Rhoads: Reflections of a Guitar Icon, which was released in May 2022. The film contains archive audio of Van Halen discussing Rhoads, saying he was one guitarist who was honest anyway, because he said everything he did, he learned from me. He was good, Van Halen continued, but I don't really think he did anything that I haven't done, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. I've copied some other people, So anyway. I'm going to have to watch that documentary. Apparently it came out in 2022.
So Jonah, I was going to ask you, Matt Barlow is who you worked with. He was in Paramaze was he in there for an album, right?
Yeah, he did the Immortal album.
Yeah, okay. But I guess I knew that, but I didn't really connect, I guess, because I just always remember him from Iced Earth.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that's how he built up a big name for himself.
Yeah.
And then he's doing Ashes of Aries now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, that's this band that he started with Freddie, who was also in Iced Earth.
Okay.
And I think they have 3 or 4. I think they have 4 albums out now.
Okay.
And I did the album intros for 2 of their albums.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I always like Matt Barlow's voice.
Yeah. It's very unique.
Yeah.
Eric's a power metal guy too.
And I like, what was it, Stu Block when he was in Iced Earth too, but nothing compares to Matt Barlow.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
I always think of Richard Christie, who ended up on Howard Stern.
Who I met because we were both recording in the same studio in Florida one time.
Oh wow!
And I played basketball with him in the driveway. And he was hilarious, man.
Him and that guy Sal on Howard Stern. Like, I don't listen to Howard Stern anymore, but back in the day, they did some of the funniest stuff. Like, those guys would have me crying.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Sal that was some pretty funny skits that he did.
When the financial crash happened, there's like this one, like, I could find it probably right now, but I won't go to the trouble. But there's like this guy was like doing a report, because they're in New York, like Stern Studio is like downtown New York. So this guy's doing a report in front of like Bear Stearns or like one of those like firms that's crashing. And like Richard and Sal like get in front of the camera, like behind the reporter, and just start like doing this really like gay makeout session, like fondling each other and stuff, and like deep like kissing, like making out, like so kissing. And just the way they're doing it is like panicked, and like you could tell they're doing it to be funny, so it's even more funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff and Richard Christie just, what a legend ass drummer, and hilarious on the Stern stuff.
Yeah.
Are you still gonna be working with Paramaze as well?
Yeah, we're working on our 8th album right now, actually.
Oh, awesome.
It's in the works, yeah.
You guys have any idea when it'll be out or anything? Just kind of
I think for sure 2025.
Next year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not sure exactly when, but probably in the summer or fall of next year, I'm guessing. Because when you hand an album over to the label, it's then they need 6 months to
slate it and do the
Yeah.
promo.
All the promo planning and this, that, and the other thing. So
Yeah, that's cool though that you can just hand your record. I mean, even though it takes time, it's cool to be able to hand it off to a label that's competent and let them kind of do all that work for you.
yeah. Nicholas and I are feeling really great about Frontiers. They've been super nice and professional, and you know, we gave them the album and the Japanese bonus track and all 4 of the music videos on, like, I want to say March 15th or something.
Okay.
And so now with the album coming out this Friday, you know, that's probably about the 6 months, right?
Yeah.
It's October already.
I know.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah. God dang. Q4, sorry. Where's my head at?
There, I'll get a lot of trick-or-treaters on my street.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, which I love. I like to sit out at the end of the driveway in a camping chair, like playing some Halloween music on a Bluetooth speaker, and then, you know, the kids come by, and yeah, there's a lot of young kids on my street, like, you know, like 3 or 4 year olds, and they're dressed up like dinosaurs and stuff or whatever. it's so great. It makes me miss being a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite costume as a kid?
Oh man, anything. Like I was just trying to be as gory as possible. You know, I mean, you know, we all went through our ninja stage, right, where we dressed up, especially in the 80s. But then as I got a little bit older, then it was like I would want to hold like a severed head and then have like a bloody axe, you know, or like that kind of thing.
Dryden, your ninja era was Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I was about to say I was an assassin.
Same thing though, still a ninja to some degree.
I still remember my favorite costume when I was a kid is I dressed up as a box of toothpaste, Colgate, and I had like my dad had taken taken like a water heater box and had somebody paint it to look like a Colgate box, and then they painted my face white, and then I put like a little cap on like the top of a toothpaste, and then my dad turned a push broom sideways, and it looked like a toothbrush, and that was I walked around like that.
Nice. I think my best costume was one year just to troll everyone because I grew up in Utah. Was I dressed up in a shirt and tie and like black dress pants and told everyone I was a Mormon missionary.
Nice. Nice.
I think my best one was like 1st or 2nd grade. I was a Joe in the box. So I had a box and
nice.
There's a little handle that they could wind up and the top would come up. And there I was. Yeah.
I worked with some guys, these indie camera, and they had the coolest. This one guy had the coolest costume I've ever seen. One year, he had 2 iPads, one on the front and one on the back, and he had the cameras wired up so you could see, like it had a hole in him, like it like broadcast, like film the front and broadcast it to it, so it looked like there was a hole through him.
Oh wow.
Yes, only a crazy like hacker developer could come up with something.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you guys seen? There's a speaker named Josh Sundquist. He's got one leg.
I haven't seen him. No.
Oh, you gotta YouTube this guy and just type in Josh Sundquist and then Halloween costumes. It is hilarious. He shows like all the different things that he's done over the years, and like one time. I won't ruin it for you. Just check it out.
Okay.
It's funny.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I love when people that are handicapped that have like a good sense of humor about it do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Joey, you might have to get Jonah's where he's at so you can take your kids over trick-or-treating and totally like eliminate his candy from him.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah.
Send my 4 little dinosaurs down his street.
I should just hand out Aries Descendant CDs to the kids.
Yeah, there
what
you
is
go.
this?
Hey, I was gonna
Didn't even
say,
know it's
if you
CDs.
have physical CDs, I'll come buy one from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably have some other stuff too.
Because I still like if I go to a show, I'll still buy a physical CD at a show or something. I don't usually do it like at a store or online, but I'll buy it at a show.
In fact, for my birthday one year, Joey bought me a Paramaze t-shirt.
I did.
Yeah.
Joey bought me the Pantera CD with Ride My Rocket.
I did.
Thanks,
I like
Joey.
giving gifts.
Joey, what's your favorite spot for wings in the cities?
Oh man,
Are you a D spot guy?
that I was gonna say. I'm trying to think of the name. We went to one place over there. Yeah, D Spot.
That's in Oakdale. Yeah. I'm a Ray J's fiend too. They have those huge wings where it's like the whole arm of the chicken, basically.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. That's my vice.
Chicken wings.
Yeah. And ice cream, but yeah.
Well, east side of St. Paul, we got so many good Asian restaurants around here. I'm usually grabbing Asian or something, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know the best poutine is up in Superior,
oh,
where Joey and I have stopped before.
wasn't that some ho dunk bar or something?
Yeah, and I got poutine.
Eric and I like to go up north bird watching and stuff like that. So
yeah. Do you know where Cotton is, Jonah?
No.
Cotton, Minnesota. It's about, what did he say, about an hour west of Duluth?
northwest, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't made it up that far.
And it's a great place in the middle of the winter to just go look for winter owls up there and stuff.
Except
Okay.
it's like minus 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there like a Prince museum in Minnesota?
Yes.
I need to come to Minneapolis just for that.
Yeah. I mean, you could always relocate up there too, Dustin.
Yeah.
Joey's probably got some room in his basement.
I think I've done
Ooh.
enough relocating.
I can show you the good wing spots.
Yeah.
I'm down for a visit though.
Do it.
I don't like to relocate a lot. This is the first time I relocated in 25 years. So
What was the record store we went to meet Ellefson?
Oh, that was in Golden Valley. What's that record store, Jonah? Do you know that big one out in Golden Valley?
Is it
Did you like-
Electric Fetus or Cheapo Records?
It doesn't sound
Cheapo.
familiar.
There's a bunch of Cheapos. The Cheapo in Blaine has a huge metal section.
Yeah, Dave Ellefson was doing a little tour on his second book or whatever, and we went out there to see him and get a signing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
I did
super cool.
an album with him back in 2004.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was a band called Avian. It was a power metal thing. Lance King was on vocals.
Let's see. Down in the Valley, it was called. Wasn't that the one, Eric?
Yeah, I think it was.
No.
Because he's a Minnesota native.
Yeah.
I mean, barely. I think he's barely like almost to Iowa, right?
Almost Iowa, yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of good metal coming out of Iowa too.
Yeah. Not just Minnesota. There's good metal coming out of Iowa too.
Michigan, shit. Black Dahlia Murder is my favorite band. One of my favorite bands out of Michigan. A lot of good.
Not much good metal out of Wisconsin, though.
Yeah. Who's a big band that came from Wisconsin? Mudvayne's from Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah. Illinois got some. Disturbed, Chevelle, they all Chicago. But,
Chicago, yeah. Smashing Pumpkins from Chicago, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Steve Miller, not the band, but Steve Miller himself, came from Wisconsin. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Misery Signals is from Wisconsin. I said heavy metal bands from Wisconsin in Google. We got Bongzilla, Casket Robbery, Jungle Rot.
Oh yeah, Casket Robbery. I know some of those guys.
Do you?
Yeah,
that's a cool name.
Yeah, Corey is an old friend of mine. Yeah, he's the guitarist.
Electric Hellfire Club. Misery Signals is a band that I used to kind of spin some of their stuff, but I haven't listened to recently. But yeah, you're right. There's not a long list of.
We got the good serial killers, but we don't have good metal
yeah.
bands.
Yeah.
You're in Minnesota, aren't you, Joey?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah.
Minnesota has plenty. Vixen, American Head Charge.
That's cool.
Dang.
Well, that's all I got. Jonah, do you guys have anything else you want to talk to Jonah about?
When does the album come out? It comes out Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday the 18th. Yep.
Be on streaming everywhere.
Yeah, on everything. Yeah, make sure to give it a listen.
We'll give it a listen before that because we have an advance copy.
I'm tired. I'm going to bed now, but I'm going to listen to it first thing in the morning.
Nice.
Joey,
Joey, you'll like it.
Dude.
Joey, you'll like it.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Well, yeah, we can close it out. We've been on for an hour, man.
Yeah. And then you can go get some physical copies for your kids for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm going to go find it. I'll look you up on socials or something, Jonah.
Yeah, just add me on Facebook. Let's get some wings, man.
Sounds good. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Trick or CD.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Jonah, man. I can't wait to listen to the stuff, and everyone should go listen to it Friday.
Aries I was just going to say, Jonah, real quick, you could like hand out CDs and like, the whole trick or treat, the treat would be your guys' CD. And then you could like go to the bargain section and just get a bunch of stuff that's from the bargain section. And then
get a bunch of old cheap trick CDs.
Yeah. And then put those as the trick. Okay. Here you go, kid. Here you go.
Like, yeah. Aries Descendant and Eiffel 65.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
Definitely, anytime.
That's fun.
Much appreciated, man.
Yep. Take care, fellas.
All right,
we're out of here.
Yeah.
Keep it brutal, y'all.